I want to tell you something that is definitely going to trigger some of you. But I need you to stick with me because your reaction to what I say is actually your most important data point for why your manifestations haven't been coming through up to this point. I have spent over $100,000 on coaching and mentorship for myself in the last few years. I would spend every single dollar again without even blinking. Now, what just happened inside of your body when I said that? Did you feel a little sick? Did a little voice say, that's irresponsible? Or must be nice? Or I could never justify that? Or I would never do that? Or did you feel something else? A pull, a longing, almost a knowing that you should be doing the same, or a quiet, tell me more. Whatever you felt, stay right there, because that reaction is not about me. That reaction is a direct transmission from your subconscious about your relationship to money. And today we're going to decode it together. Now, let me back up, because I wasn't always someone who spent $100,000 on myself. I was a teen mom. I was so broke. I built a salon from broke, running home between clients after I'd get a cash payment to go pay bills so that my electricity or my water wouldn't get shut off before the company closed that day. Convincing a landlord to give me a commercial lease when I had no credit and no money and no proof that I even had a clue what I was doing. I was 25 years old. For a long time, spending money on myself felt like the most irresponsible thing I could do. In fact, every time I did, I felt guilty. I felt like every time I had a problem, it was my fault for being irresponsible with my money. And I had real bills, real mouths to feed, and real consequences if I did things wrong. And then over the years, something shifted. I was manifesting, I was teaching it, I was experiencing some success with manifestation. I could make something happen. I could get some money to come in. I could always make things enough. I just couldn't get more or excess. And then at 41, something shifted. I had known for a really long time inside of myself that I wasn't supposed to be doing hair anymore. I'd been doing hair for almost 20 years. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't lighting me up. The only thing that was lighting me up was the coaching I was able to do for my clients. I was able to teach them about manifestation. I was able to coach them to the next level of their own success, to get them to make more money and have more confidence. And it was so fun to me. And doing their hair was just like something I did so that they were my chair so I could help them. But I felt a pull. I knew I had to trust the process. I had to take the leap or I'd get stuck. On my 41st birthday, I retired from hair. And a few months later, I didn't really know how I was going to build my coaching company. A few months later, I'm laying in bed and I see an advertisement for Tony Robbins. And I love Tony Robbins. I knew he was expensive and I didn't think I could afford it. But I started filling out the form anyways because I just didn't know. Partially through filling out the form, I kind of gave up, was half asleep, and was like, I'm not going to do this. I can't afford this. What am I doing? I just quit my career, and I'm trying to build a company. I don't have money to invest into this. The next day, I get a call from Tony's team. She says, hey, you signed up for a free coaching call. You signed up for this business seminar, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't think I did. I don't even know what it is. And she's like, well, you get a free coaching call. Do you want it? So we do an hour coaching call the next day. And she helped me with my goals and setting everything. And I was so excited. I was like, this sounds amazing. It sounds like exactly what I need. In my body, I knew it was a room I had to get into and it was information I had to know. But my subconscious blocks told me there's no way. That would be irresponsible because you just quit your career and now you have barely any income and you're having to build a new business. So when she told me the cost of this class was $10,000, I shut it down. I said, there's absolutely no way. I'm not doing it. I don't have it. Even if I wanted to, there's nowhere for me to get it. I don't have $10,000 on a credit card. I have no way of getting this money. And she asked me, a year from now, if nothing changes, where will you be if you don't get this information, if you don't take this next step? And I thought, gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I know how to run a salon. I know how to do hair, but I don't know how to create this business. I don't know how to get to my next level. And I'd been a business owner for almost 20 years at this point, and I was at no means where I wanted to be. So there was still information in the business world that I desperately needed. I told her no, got off the phone, talked to my husband. He convinced me within 5 minutes that I was worth it and that I would make it happen, whatever it was, like it would be worth the investment. Thank God for him, because he helped me take my first step into truly believing in myself. So I called her back and I said, I have no clue how I'm going to get this money. Do you do payment plans? And she said, yes, I just had to pay it off before the class started. So I think I had like 6 months to come up with the 10 grand. If you've heard my story, I did come up with 10 grand. That was my first manifestation in 6 months. So I was like, you know what? I did it once. I'm going to do it again. And somehow I know how. I told the universe, this is what I want. And it showed up in monthly installments because that's what I said I needed. Had I said I need it today, I need it tomorrow, it would have come through. I'm 100% sure of that. So after that, $10,000 didn't feel like a lot of money to invest in myself anymore. The class was incredible. I learned so much, but the shift happened inside of me. Now I knew I was worth investing in. And I knew what I could do once I was able to invest in myself. Shortly after, I manifested another $9,000 to invest with my mentor, Dan Martell. And that changed my life all over again. And all of a sudden, I was signing up for every single Tony Robbins seminar. I was getting this mentoring and coaching from Dan Martell. I was in rooms with people who were doing the things I wanted to do on the biggest levels possible. And my entire life shifted because I allowed myself to shut down that subconscious voice that told me I was irresponsible. And that's when I realized the money had never actually been a problem. My belief about what I deserved to receive was the problem. That belief had been installed inside of me long before I ever had time to question it. Here's what most people don't realize about their money blocks. You didn't create them. You inherited them. They were passed down to you. I actually saw a video the other day and it was like a plastic cup, 4 of them. And it said grandma's belief, and it was something that was on fire and went in, and then it burnt through and it fell into mom's belief. And then when it came into the person, it was a cup of water. So it came in and put the fire out before it could get to their child. And I thought that was so cool. We have to be the ones who stop the story, who create a new story, who change our bloodline, who change the future of everyone who comes after us. When you decide to be that person, and when you have the calling to be that person, and you know you have the calling when you want to be wealthy, when you want to make money, when you want to create something, when you want to help people on a high level, you're someone who's supposed to change the bloodline. So your subconscious money programming came before you were 8 years old, because after 8 years old, we grow this little filter between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind that tells us, pause for a second and decide if this is your truth. So we can hear something and go, not mine, I don't believe that. Before 8, it just slides right into our subconscious and becomes part of our subconscious story. Whatever your subconscious believes to be true is the life you experience. Your truth is only your truth because you decided in your subconscious that it was your truth. All you have to do is change that belief and everything else changes. So up until 8 years old, every time you heard a conversation about money, a fight about money, a whisper about money, any kind of conflict around money, you were creating a belief in your subconscious that money was bad, money was hard, money caused drama, money caused fights, money hurt marriages, money's bad. And then your little nervous system started taking notes, and that's the story you're living today. Those notes became your beliefs, and then those beliefs became your patterns. Those patterns have quietly been running your financial life up until now. Even when your conscious mind is doing all the right things, affirmations, like feeling it in your body, trying to shift your identity, making vision boards, doing manifestation rituals, your subconscious pattern is still louder. And this makes it even more interesting. So those blocks don't even just come from your own childhood. They come from your lineage. So your grandmother's relationship with money is living in your nervous system right now. And the beliefs that she had that made sense in that time, in that era, around scarcity and survival are still running like code inside of you. In your era, in your life, where the rules are totally different. So this is why I created the 6 money block archetypes, so that women could identify who it is inside of them that's making the decisions, who's running the show, who they are at this moment, and then work through that archetype to get to the other side of it and to get free, to find financial freedom, to find the life of their dreams, to truly change their bloodline. I kept seeing patterns again and again. There were women who had blocks that didn't live in their mind, but in their nervous system. And then success starts registering as a threat. One of the archetypes is the peaceful pretender. She's buried her desires as spiritually mature. She doesn't need more. She's grateful for what she has. She's not lying. She just stopped dreaming so the ache would go away. And knowing which one you are changes everything, because then you stop trying to fix the wrong thing. I built a quiz that identifies your archetype in about 3 minutes, and I will post it in the description. It tells you which pattern has been running your financial life, where it came from, and what it's actually costing you. Not to make you feel bad, to make you feel seen. Because the moment you can name it, you stop being at the mercy of it. $100K I spent on myself, that wasn't reckless. It was the most Princess Jean thing I have ever done. It was me deciding before I had proof, before I had certainty, before anyone else could give me permission, that I was worth the investment. That I was going to take that investment and I was going to change my life. And the life I have now is the receipt. Now it's your turn. So let's walk through the 6 archetypes. I've talked about this before, but I just want you to see this in a different light. If you haven't seen my other videos on it, they're still great, but I want you to understand this on a deep level. As I describe each one, I want you to see which one lands in your body differently, because one of them is going to hit different than the others for you. The first one is the apologetic dreamer. She wants it. She really genuinely wants more money, more joy, more freedom. But the moment she gets close to asking for it or claiming it, she gets this wave of guilt. Wanting more means she's ungrateful for what she has. Desiring more somehow takes away from somebody else. She shrinks her desires before she even voices them, and then wonders why they never materialize. Number 2 is the numb queen. She's been disappointed so many times that she's stopped letting herself want things. She'll tell you she's fine. She's content. She doesn't really need more. But that's not peace. That's protection. She disconnected from desire because desire felt dangerous. And so you can't manifest what you won't allow yourself to have. The third is the logical limiter. Remember, follow through these and see what's really landing with you. And it may be more than one, but one you're going to feel at your core. The logical limiter. She can dream for other people all day long. She believes in the manifestation theory, but when it comes to her own life, her brain takes over. It starts calculating, demanding how, demanding proof before it will allow any kind of belief. And then she intellectualizes herself right out of receiving. How is never your job, but she keeps making it her job, so she keeps blocking it. The fourth is the sabotage queen. She gets sometimes so close she could taste it. And then something happens. She gets sick, she picks a fight, she suddenly gets too busy, and then she makes a decision that pulls her back from the breakthrough. Her nervous system has a ceiling on how much good she's allowed to have. And every time she approaches that ceiling, she finds a way to pull herself back down. The fifth is the forever preparer. She's almost ready. She just needs one more certification, one more course, one more sign from the universe. She's been waiting for external permission to begin, waiting for circumstances to align, waiting to feel ready, waiting for someone or something to give her the green light. The green light was always internal though. It's not going to come from the outside. The last one is the peaceful pretender. She built an identity around not wanting too much. She calls it being content, being spiritual, not being materialistic. But under that peace is a buried desire she's been too afraid to admit, because admitting it means risking disappointment. She made settling look like wisdom, but it's not. It's armor. One of those just landed in your chest. You know which one it is. Now, here's the thing about all 6 archetypes. None of them are your fault. Every single one of them was a brilliant adaptation to something that happened to you. Usually something you experienced before you were even old enough to understand it. The apologetic dreamer learned that wanting things caused conflict in her family. The numb queen learned that hoping led to pain. The logical limiter learned that being practical was the only safe way to navigate the world. The sabotage queen learned that success brought unwanted attention or responsibility. The forever preparer learned that she wasn't quite enough yet in some formative moment. And the peaceful pretender learned that desire was dangerous or shameful. These were survival stages. They worked, but now they're in your way. Work isn't to shame these parts of you. The work is to recognize them, name them, and then consciously choose a different pattern. That's what identity work really is. It's not pretending that you feel differently than you really do. It's deciding who you're becoming and making decisions from that identity, even before the feeling fully catches up. This is the Princess Gene work. Princess Gene is that innate feeling inside of you, part that has always known that you were meant for more, the part of you that feels a whisper for a bigger life and refuses to believe that this is all there is. That part of you isn't delusional. That part of you is your design. So here's what I will leave you with. Your reaction to my 100K investment wasn't random. It was information. It was your subconscious showing you exactly where the work is. And that's not bad news. That's actually the best news because you can't heal what you can't see. The first step is identifying which archetype is running your financial life right now. And if you're ready to go deeper than just our quiz, if you're ready to actually do the work of activating your princess gene, releasing the lineage patterns, and building the identity of the woman who receives at the level you're calling in, Legacy Collective is open. The link is in the description too. I'll meet you there.